Let me ask you something. What does success actually look like? Not the version you see on social media, not the fake smiles, not the highlight reels. I'm talking about real success. Because here's the truth most people don't want to face. Success doesn't come to people who want it, it comes to people who are committed to it. And those are two very different things. Most human beings want to succeed. They want a better life. They want freedom. They want respect. They want to feel proud of who they are. But wanting is cheap. Commitment is rare. You've seen it happen in school, in college, at work, in life. People start strong. They take a few steps forward. And then something shiny appears. Something comfortable distracts them. Something emotional knocks them off balance. And just like that, they drift away. Not because they failed, but because their commitment was weak. Here's the brutal reality. Most people don't quit because they're incapable. They quit because they allow circumstances to weaken their commitment. A little emotional chaos, commitment weakens. A little physical exhaustion, commitment weakens. A little disappointment, commitment weakens. And over time, they slowly train themselves to give up without even realizing it. Success doesn't disappear from their life. They walk away from it. Let me make this clear. Life will always create drama. Social drama, psychological drama, physical drama. That's not the problem. The problem is when you allow that drama to dictate the level of commitment you have to your future. Because the moment your commitment weakens, your progress stops. Success doesn't require perfect conditions. It requires unbroken commitment. No matter what happens around you, no matter how long it takes, no matter how uncomfortable it gets. Think about people who have achieved something meaningful in business, in sports, in art, in music, in personal transformation. Do you know what they all have in common? They didn't live life based on comfort. They didn't structure their days around convenience. They didn't say, I need to feel good first. They said, this matters, so I will do what it takes. Most people design their life around comfort. Breakfast on time, coffee on time, rest on time, entertainment on time, sleep on time, everything neatly packaged, and there's nothing wrong with that, unless you expect extraordinary results from an ordinary routine. The people who create impact live differently. They don't know exactly when they ate. They don't remember when they rested. They don't measure life in comfort. They measure life in commitment, because comfort will come eventually. In fact, comfort is guaranteed. One day you'll be so comfortable, you won't feel anything anymore. That's called the end. Until then, life is about intensity, depth, and impact. You were not created with small potential. You were not designed to live like an earthworm. An earthworm has one clear purpose: eat, reproduce, disappear. No confusion, no ambition, no internal conflict. But a human being? You were created with limitless possibilities. And that's the problem, because unlimited potential demands discipline, direction, and effort. Without that, you suffer. Here's something most people misunderstand about success. Success is not about being better than someone else. That's sickness. If your definition of success is, at least I'm doing better than my neighbor, you're already lost. Real success has nothing to do with comparison. It has everything to do with fulfillment. Are you using yourself fully? Are you exploring your potential? Do you feel that what you do matters to you? If yes, that's success, even if nobody applauds. The world doesn't have to recognize you. You do, and that's enough. The problem is, most people spend too much time judging themselves. I failed. I made mistakes. I chose the wrong path. Let me tell you something powerful. There are no mistakes in life. There are only stages of evolution. At one point, humanity was something else entirely. Was that a mistake, Fixies? No, it was a stage. You were born unfinished. Unlike other creatures, you came unformed. And life throws everything at you. Opinions, pressure, expectations, criticism, fear. Your job? To take all that chaos and build something meaningful out of yourself. That's success. Not money, not fame, not applause, but becoming a worthwhile human being in your own eyes. And that only happens when your commitment does not weaken, no matter what. We're ordin bionen. This is just the foundation. In part 2, we will break down why most people never reach success even though they try, how comfort secretly destroys ambition, and the dangerous habit of settling too early. And in part 3, we will talk about how to align your daily life so success has no choice but to meet you, how to build unbreakable inner discipline, and how to live in a way that makes quitting impossible. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They don't fail because they lack intelligence. They don't even fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because they settle too early. At some point in life, almost everyone lowers the bar. They stop asking, "What am I truly capable of?" and start asking, "What can I live with?" That question is dangerous. Because the moment you shift from potential to comfort, success quietly walks away. You see, effort alone is not enough. A lot of people try. They wake up early. They work hard, they stay busy, but being busy is not the same as being aligned. You can run very fast in the wrong direction. Here's the truth nobody teaches you. Success is not about how hard you work, it's about what you tolerate. What kind of life are you willing to accept? Mediocre relationships? A job that drains your soul? A body you don't respect? A mind filled with excuses? Because whatever you tolerate becomes your standard, and whatever becomes your standard becomes your future. Most people don't lose ambition suddenly. They lose it slowly, one compromise at a time. I'll start tomorrow. It's not the right time. I deserve a break. This is good enough. And one day they wake up 10 years later living a life they never consciously chose. Comfort is seductive. It doesn't attack you. It whispers. It says, "Relax. You've done enough. You can slow down now." But comfort is not neutral. Comfort is a silent killer of potential. Look at nature. Nothing grows in comfort. Muscles grow under tension. Diamonds form under pressure. Strength is built through resistance. But humans, we run from discomfort and then wonder why we feel weak. Most people want success without friction. They want progress without pain, growth without sacrifice, confidence without self-confrontation. That's not how life works. That's not how anything works. Here's another hard truth. Most people don't actually want success. They want the image of success. They want to be seen as successful. They want the respect, the lifestyle, the validation, but they don't want the loneliness, the uncertainty, the discipline, the responsibility, and success demands all of it. Success isolates you before it elevates you. You will think differently. You will move differently. You will say no to things others say yes to. And many people quit right there, not because it's hard, but because it's lonely. Another reason people never reach success, they confuse information with transformation. They read books, watch videos, listen to podcasts. They know everything, but knowing is cheap. Execution is expensive. You don't become confident by understanding confidence. You become confident by doing things while your hands are shaking. You don't become disciplined by learning about discipline. You become disciplined by doing what you hate until it becomes who you are. As most people are addicted to preparation, because preparation feels productive when without the risk of failure. But success only rewards action. Messy action, imperfect action, uncomfortable action. Let me say this clearly. If you wait until you feel ready, you will wait forever. Readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. Another invisible trap. People outsource responsibility. They blame their parents, their past, their boss, the economy, the system, and maybe they're right. Maybe life was unfair, but success doesn't negotiate with blame. The moment you say, "This is my responsibility," you take your power back. Until then, you're a victim. And victims don't win. Here's something nobody likes to admit. Some people secretly don't want success because success would remove their excuses. If you succeed, you can't complain anymore. You can't blame anyone anymore. You have to own your life. And that terrifies people. Success forces you to confront yourself, your laziness, your ego, your fears, your inconsistencies, and most people would rather stay distracted than face who they really are. So they stay busy, they stay entertained, they stay comfortable, and they call it a life. But deep down, they know. They know they settled. They know they could have done more, been more, become more. And that regret is heavier than any discipline ever would have been. This is why success feels rare. Not because it's reserved for the lucky, but because it demands that you do not negotiate with your potential. In part 3, we will talk about the solution. Not motivation, not hype, but how to structure your life so success becomes inevitable, how to build discipline that doesn't depend on emotions, how to live in a way where quitting is no longer an option. Because once you align your daily actions with who you want to become, success won't need to find you. You'll already be standing right where it happens. Let's stop talking about motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. It depends on mood, energy, emotion. Success doesn't care how you feel. Success responds to structure. If you want success to come to you, you must stop relying on feelings and start designing your life. Because here's the truth, your environment will always overpower your intentions. If your life is built for distraction, discipline will feel impossible. If your life is built for comfort, growth will feel painful. So the question is not, how do I try harder? The question is, how do I make failure difficult and progress inevitable? Our success comes when your days look different. Not dramatic, not extreme, but intentional. You don't need a perfect plan. You need non-negotiables. Simple rules you follow no matter how you feel. You train even when you're tired. You work even when you're uninspired. You show up even when nobody is watching. That's not motivation. That's identity. Here's something powerful. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Goals are wishes. Systems are reality. So build systems that force you forward. Wake up earlier than comfort wants. Remove distractions before they remove your future. Create routines that make laziness uncomfortable. Most people wait for discipline to appear. Disciplined people engineer it. They don't ask, do I feel like doing this? They ask, is this who I said I would become? And then they act accordingly. Another critical shift: stop thinking in outcomes, think in standards. Outcomes are distant. Standards are daily. You can't control results today, but you can control your behavior. Did you keep your word today? Did you do the hard thing today? Did you respect your potential today? If yes, success is already happening, even if the world can't see it yet. Success comes to people who can delay reward. People who can work for months, years, with no visible payoff, because they understand something rare. The work is building them before it rewards them. And once you are built, the reward is inevitable. You must also learn to protect your energy. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not every conversation matters. Not every opinion is relevant. Not every invitation is worth your time. Success requires solitude at times. Focus requires silence. Growth requires saying no to things that feel good but lead nowhere. Another truth: you must become comfortable being misunderstood. People will say you've changed. Yes, that's the point. If you don't change, your life won't either. Stop explaining yourself. Results explain everything. Or success also demands honesty. Brutal honesty. Are you actually working or just staying busy? Are you actually improving or just repeating the same year over and over? Self-deception is the biggest enemy of growth, and courage is telling yourself the truth even when it hurts. Here's the final shift: success is not something you chase. It's something you allow by removing everything that blocks it. Excuses, distractions, comfort addiction, fear of judgment. When those are gone, what remains is progress. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You don't need the perfect moment. You need a decision. A decision to live deliberately. A decision to respect your potential. A decision to stop negotiating with who you could become. Let me leave you with this. Success will come to you when your actions say, I'm ready. When your discipline is consistent. When your standards are high. When your commitment is unbreakable. Not when life gets easier, but when you get stronger. This is not about becoming better than others. This is about becoming undeniable. So one day, when success finally stands in front of you, it won't feel like luck. It will feel familiar. because you've been living like this person long before the world noticed. This is how success comes to you. Not by waiting, but by becoming.